Why do men cheat? It's a question as old as relationships themselves, sparking endless debates, heartbreaks, and late night conversations. Is it purely physical, an escape from boredom, or something deeper, buried beneath layers of unmet needs and societal pressures? Infidelity often shatters trust, but behind every betrayal is a story, complex, messy, and deeply human. To truly understand why some men stray, we need to unravel the psychology, emotions, and choices that drive this behavior. Did you know that nearly 1 in 5 men in relationships admits to cheating? But here's the real kicker. This statistic only scratches the surface. Behind every affair is a story, often more complicated than it seems. It's easy to assume infidelity is just about physical desire or a lack of self-control. But what if the reasons run deeper? What if cheating is less about the thrill of someone new and more about unresolved feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, or even fear of commitment? Consider this. A man in a seemingly perfect relationship with a loving partner and stable life risks it all for a fleeting connection. Why? Is he seeking something he feels is missing in his current relationship, or is it something missing within himself? These are the questions that keep us up at night, wondering if we can ever truly understand the motivations behind infidelity. By examining the psychological, emotional, and societal layers of why men cheat, we may discover that it's not just a story about betrayal. It's a story about the complexity of human relationships and the battles we fight within ourselves. When we think of someone who cheats, it's easy to paint them as selfish or morally flawed. But infidelity often stems from a tangled web of emotions and experiences that aren't always black and white. What if the cheater isn't a villain, but someone grappling with feelings they don't fully understand? Take a man who feels invisible in his own home. He loves his partner, but over time, their conversations have dwindled. Their affection has cooled, and he feels like a shadow of the person he once was. Instead of addressing these feelings openly, a task that can be daunting and vulnerable, he seeks validation elsewhere. It's not just the thrill of something new that draws him. It's the way someone else's attention makes him feel seen, desired, and alive again. In some cases, cheating might not even be about dissatisfaction with the relationship. It could be a way to cope with personal insecurities. A man who struggles with feelings of inadequacy might cheat to prove to himself that he's still attractive, still worthy. For others, it could be a misguided attempt to reclaim control in a life where they feel powerless or trapped. This isn't to excuse the behavior, but to understand it. Cheating is rarely just about sex. It's often about filling a void, whether that void is emotional, psychological, or rooted in unmet needs. By humanizing the cheater, we begin to see infidelity not as a simple act of betrayal, but as a reflection of deeper struggles that many people, if they're honest, might recognize in themselves. Is infidelity written in our DNA, or is it a product of the world we live in? The debate between biological instincts and societal influence has long been at the heart of understanding why men cheat. Some argue that evolution plays a significant role, while others point to modern pressures and opportunities that make straying more tempting than ever. From an evolutionary standpoint, some researchers suggest that men may be predisposed to seek multiple partners as a way to ensure the continuation of their genetic line. In ancient times, this strategy might have increased the likelihood of passing on genes, making it a trait that persisted over generations. While our lives have evolved far beyond those primitive dynamics, the biological drive for novelty and reproduction may still linger in the subconscious. But biology doesn't operate in a vacuum. Society adds layers of complexity to our choices. For instance, cultural norms and media often glorify infidelity, portraying it as exciting and daring. Think of movies, music, and even advertising that romanticizes the forbidden or the allure of something out of reach. This normalization can subtly shape attitudes, making cheating seem more acceptable, or at least less taboo than it once was. Opportunities also play a role. In today's hyper-connected world, temptation is just a click away. Social media, dating apps, and even workplace interactions provide a constant stream of new connections, creating an environment where infidelity is easier to initiate and harder to detect. At the same time, societal pressures on men to perform, succeed, and suppress emotions can lead to cracks in their relationships. When emotional needs aren't met, or vulnerabilities aren't addressed, some men may turn to infidelity not because they're biologically wired to cheat, but because they lack the tools or support to process their struggles constructively. Ultimately, the answer isn't as simple as biology or society, it's the interplay between the two. Understanding how these factors influence behavior doesn't justify cheating, but helps us grasp the complexity behind it. Cheating rarely happens in a vacuum. The dynamics within a relationship often play a pivotal role. While the cheater is responsible for their choices, the environment of the relationship itself can sometimes create conditions that make infidelity more likely. It's not about placing blame, but about understanding the cracks that can form over time, even in seemingly strong partnerships. Consider a relationship where communication has broken down. Maybe the couple has stopped having meaningful conversations, relying instead on routine exchanges about bills, schedules, and errands. Over time, emotional intimacy fades, leaving one or both partners feeling disconnected. When this happens, the human need for connection and understanding doesn't disappear. It just seeks fulfillment elsewhere. Unmet expectations can also be a trigger. For instance, one partner may feel they're giving everything to the relationship, but not receiving the same level of care or attention in return. These feelings can simmer beneath the surface, creating resentment or a sense of being undervalued. In such a state, the attention or affection of someone outside the relationship can feel like a balm, even if it comes at a cost. Physical intimacy is another factor. When it wanes, whether due to stress, health issues, or life's demands, it can leave one partner feeling neglected or undesirable. While many couples navigate these challenges together, others may struggle to address the issue, leading some to seek the physical and emotional connection they're missing elsewhere. But not all infidelity is born from dissatisfaction. Sometimes the dynamics of power and control come into play. A partner who feels powerless in their relationship or other areas of life might cheat as a way to reclaim a sense of autonomy. For others, the thrill of something forbidden might be less about dissatisfaction and more about escapism, a temporary retreat from the responsibilities and routines of daily life. Yet, it's crucial to note that these relational dynamics don't cause cheating. They only provide context. Infidelity is ultimately a choice, a response to these struggles rather than an inevitability. Understanding the role relationships play in these situations can help couples identify and address issues before they lead to betrayal, fostering healthier communication and stronger connections. At its core, infidelity is a choice, a deliberate action taken despite the potential consequences. While it's essential to understand the factors that might lead someone to cheat, it's equally important to address the moral dilemmas and personal accountability involved. Cheating isn't something that just happens. It's a series of decisions that reflect a person's values, priorities, and willingness to risk their relationship. One of the biggest moral dilemmas surrounding infidelity is the conflict between personal desires and the commitment made to a partner. A man might feel justified in his actions, telling himself, "I deserve to be happy," or "what my partner doesn't know won't hurt them." But this kind of rationalization ignores the implicit or explicit promises of loyalty and trust that form the foundation of most relationships. When someone cheats, they aren't just betraying their partner, they're also compromising their integrity. Accountability becomes even more pressing when we consider the ripple effects of infidelity. Cheating doesn't just impact the person betrayed, it can shatter families, damage friendships, and even erode the cheater's own self-esteem and reputation. The initial thrill or escape of an affair often gives way to guilt, shame, or regret, forcing the cheater to confront the consequences of their actions. This is where choice and agency come into play. Infidelity isn't inevitable, even in the face of temptation or relationship struggles. There are always alternatives: open communication about dissatisfaction, seeking therapy or counseling, or even deciding to end the relationship if it no longer works. Cheating, in contrast, bypasses these harder but healthier options in favor of a shortcut that often leads to greater harm. It's also worth examining how societal attitudes toward cheating can blur the lines of accountability. In some circles, infidelity is glamorized or brushed off as harmless, making it easier for cheaters to justify their behavior. But no matter how normalized or excused it may be, the act of cheating remains a breach of trust that requires the cheater to take responsibility for their actions. Ultimately, moral dilemmas and accountability are at the heart of the conversation about infidelity. Cheating isn't just a moment of weakness, it's a test of character. By holding cheaters accountable and encouraging honest reflection, we can begin to address the root causes of infidelity and foster healthier, more ethical relationships. Infidelity, though painful and complex, doesn't have to be the end of the story. For those directly affected, whether the one betrayed or the one who strayed, there is an opportunity to turn the experience into a catalyst for growth, understanding, and in some cases, even healing. Moving forward requires more than time. It demands introspection, honest communication, and a commitment to change. For the betrayed partner, the pain of infidelity can feel all-encompassing. Rebuilding trust is often the hardest part, as doubt and fear linger long after the betrayal is revealed. A path forward begins with clarity, understanding why the cheating happened and whether both parties are willing to confront those reasons head on. This may involve difficult conversations, setting boundaries, and taking the time to process emotions without rushing into decisions. Professional therapy or counseling can be invaluable here, providing a safe space to unpack the hurt and explore what comes next. For the partner who cheated, accountability is key. Owning up to their actions without deflecting blame or making excuses is the first step toward rebuilding trust. This requires more than an apology. It's about demonstrating consistent actions that reflect a genuine commitment to change. Understanding the underlying reasons for their behavior, be it unresolved personal issues, unmet needs, or emotional immaturity, is essential for preventing future mistakes. For both partners, infidelity can serve as a wake-up call. It forces a reckoning with the state of the relationship, highlighting cracks that may have gone unnoticed or unaddressed for years. While it's not a justification for cheating, infidelity can be an opportunity to reassess priorities and rebuild a stronger foundation if both parties are willing to put in the work. This might mean improving communication, fostering emotional intimacy, or rediscovering shared goals and values. In some cases, moving forward means parting ways. Not all relationships survive infidelity, and that's okay. Ending a relationship doesn't mean failure. It can be a powerful act of self-respect and a chance to start fresh. Whether the decision is to stay or leave, the ultimate goal is to heal, learn, and grow from the experience. Finally, for those who've never experienced infidelity but fear it in their relationships, prevention is key. Open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to address issues before they escalate can go a long way in fostering a healthy, faithful partnership. Infidelity is not inevitable. With effort and awareness, couples can build relationships that are resilient in the face of challenges. A path forward isn't about forgetting the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about facing it with courage, learning from it with humility, and using those lessons to create a better future, whether that's together or apart.